everyone. On behalf of Youth for Business and the Global Executive Board, we are excited to commence our first event of the year, the Innovation Panel. My name is Sneha, and I'm a junior in New Jersey, and I'm one of the co-founders and chief executive officers here at YFB.
And I'm Janvi, also a junior in New Jersey, and I'm the other co-founder and chief executive officer here at YFB. YFB, currently with an international network of 3 countries, aims to provide everyone equal access to business literacy through professional events where high schools can gain knowledge about various sectors of business and network with leading business professionals in the industry, while simultaneously engaging in community service by partnering with schools and other institutions to teach the underprivileged and other students business-related programs. And here's the rest of our executive board.
Hey everyone, my name is Salmo Boma, and I'm the Chief Operations Officer for Youth for Business, and I'm currently a junior from Katy, Texas.
Hi guys, my name is Sharon. I'm a junior from Edison, New Jersey, and I am the Chief Marketing Officer.
Hey everyone, my name is Ryan. I'm a junior from Katy, Texas, and I'm the Chief Financial Officer.
Hi, my name is Nish Patel. I'm a junior at Monroe Township High School in New Jersey, and I'm the Chief Technology Officer for Youth Business.
Hi, I'm Taylor. I'm a junior in California, and I'm the Director of Outreach of Youth for Business.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ayushi, and I'm a junior in Edison, New Jersey, and I'm the Director of Events at Youth for Business.
Hi, everyone. I'm Shreya, and I'm also a junior from New Jersey, and I'm one of the heads of journalism here at YFB.
Hi everyone, I'm Yash Maheshwari from Edison, New Jersey, and I'm the other head of journalism here at Youth for Business.
So each of our speakers today that are going to be here today have extensive experience with entrepreneurship in various industries. So without further ado, I will pass it over to Ayushi, who is our Director of Events.
So we're going to go over the agenda for today. Today we're going to begin with our first speaker, Sukesh, who will share more about his experiences, and then we'll have a 5-minute audience Q&A. Throughout the course of his presentation, please send Janvi a private message in the chat if you have any questions you would like to ask the speaker. During the Q&A session, Janvi will call on you, and then you can ask the speaker your question directly. Following this, we'll have a similar format for speaker 2, Adam, and speaker 3, Ajit. Again, please direct your questions to Janvi throughout the presentation. So here with us today is our first speaker, Sukesh Tedla. He's the CEO and founder of Unbiased. So to start off, Sukesh, if you could introduce yourself and give our audience a brief overview about Unbiased.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Sukesh. I'm the CEO and founder of Unbiased. And I'm super excited today to be here among the next generation of entrepreneurs and business leaders. And I'm super glad that you guys are taking this initiative, and I see so many participants today joining in for this event. So about my journey with Unbiased and a bit of background about myself. So I have a master's in telecommunications from a university here in Sweden. And I have professional experience working within the telecom industry and also innovation space for the last 6 years. So I have been, I started my career as a system administrator for Ericsson. So we have been working with 4G and 5G development at the time. So I used to manage the data center and kind of like all the tech equipment related to that research project. After that, back in 2017, I came across something called Bitcoin and blockchain technology. And around the same time, I was kind of like in between change of like plans to have a change in my career. So I always had this passion about entrepreneurship and doing something by myself. So at the same time, like when I first learned about the technology of blockchain, and at the same time around, there was this lot of hype and talk about fake news and misinformation in US politics and on a global level. And there was also this announcement about Facebook privacy issues around the same time back in 2017. So at that time, I thought, like, why isn't there any solution in the market today which can provide you with all the insights that you need to understand about the public sentiment on a particular topic? So today, if you want to know about public sentiment on US politics or like COVID vaccine in US specifically, or in Sweden or elsewhere, all you have to do is go and search in Google, right? So the way the results that you get in Google today are kind of like personalized towards your kind of biases. So what we thought was, why isn't there a platform where I could get like a diversified opinions? Whether because today we kind of limit on the internet wherever we go, whether to Google or Twitter or Instagram or YouTube, everything is personalized to your experience so that you click on different and so forth. So we thought we need a simple solution which can give us all kinds of insights on how people are thinking about a particular topic without getting any biased opinions. So that's how it all started, the idea of unbiased. And since then, since 2017, we learned a lot of stuff about the industry, and we have been innovating different products and services. We had to make some changes to our vision. We have to adapt. We have to innovate. And today we are building a platform which can help companies and organizations and developers working in the space of artificial intelligence to build the algorithms that they are building in an ethical way. So when I say ethical way, it basically means that so whatever the algorithms that you are using unknowingly today in most of the applications that you use, and in future in the autonomous cars or in the healthcare industry, and all these kind of algorithms, we want to make them transparent. So the way the algorithms are built in a transparent way, and we want to eliminate biases from these algorithms, because we don't want algorithms to recruit only men instead of women. This happened in Amazon recruitment process, for instance. So we want to enable the next generation of innovative applications much more in an ethical fashion. So that's what we are doing today. We are building a platform which can ensure that the next generation of innovations are done in an ethical fashion. So that's briefly about what we are doing at Unbiased today.
That's great. So now we're going to move over to some questions we prepared for you.
Sure.
So our first question is, what do you think the future holds for artificial intelligence?
I think artificial intelligence is already here, and it's just going to grow. We are using almost AI in every other application that we have on our phones today, or on the internet. Wherever you go, you have artificial intelligence. And now with the advancements in autonomous cars, with Tesla and other companies, we're going to be having AI, whether we like it or not, in each and every application that we are going to use. I just read today morning about this announcement that OpenAI, the one funded by Elon Musk, they actually invented an artificial neuron, which can basically classify, which can kind of work similar way as our human brain neurons. So that's kind of like really super cool when you read about these topics. I think it's going to play a vital role. So whatever we are doing at Unbiased is kind of to ensure that these things that are going to happen with AI are done in a proper way, which are by our values, principles, ethics, and so forth. So that's what we're trying to do. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it about AI. I think it's going to be there, so everyone should start learning about AI.
That's awesome. So our second question is, what have the obstacles that you faced throughout your journey taught you about starting a new company or being a new businessman?
Yeah, I have faced a lot of obstacles. So like, as you see, I'm originally from India. I've been in Sweden for almost 7 years now. And in Sweden, we have a different language. It's Swedish. It's very different from English. So trust me on that. So I've been trying to learn the language. It has been a challenge, first of all, and the culture and everything is different. The way the businesses are done and everything is different. All the documentation is different. So there has been a lot of challenges throughout my journey as an entrepreneur. But you have to just keep going, whether it's business challenges or technical challenges or financial challenges. You have to have the determination as an entrepreneur to keep going and never give up. As long as you are strong, and as long as you have that sincere dedication, and you really want to achieve your goals and vision, you will get help in one or the other way. When things seems really like bad, you will find a way. There will always be a way as long as you stay strong. So that would be my suggestion, just to stay strong.
All right, so our next question is, what is your vision for Unbiased?
Well, the vision is basically to kind of like empower the next generation of innovations more in a transparent way. So we initially started with this mission of fighting fake news and misinformation, right? So we still want to work towards that mission, but at the same time, we want to address some of the fundamental challenges related to ethical aspects of AI or technology in general. So at the end of the day, we want to, as a company, whatever we are building in terms of products and services, our goal is to empower people in different parts of the world, provide them opportunities, and ensure that the technology and the innovations that we are creating are done in a really good fashion rather than focused on generating capital. So it's our most Unbiased is more about people rather than being some kind of financial leader or something like that. It's more about giving back to the society by using technology. So yeah, that's my vision for the company, I would say.
Okay, so we will move on to our audience Q&A session now. And as a reminder, you guys can send me any questions you may have in the chat. And we do have some questions right now. Our first question that we have for you is, what is the best career advice you've ever received? And this is from Sam Ross.
Best career advice. I don't really remember one right now, but on top of my head, but I think, yeah, I think it's actually from my mom, actually. So she always tells like, never give up, and try giving your 100%, and you will see the results. Of course, she brings in some kind of spiritual aspect to it, but I think you have to take that as the positive thing, and you just need to like do good and be good, and just try to stay strong and keep doing what you're doing and give 100%. You will see the results.
Awesome, thank you. We have a question from Anna, so she can go ahead and ask her question.
What is your revenue model?
So we have kind of like a platform as a service revenue model today. So we provide the technology platform for different business users. So today we have companies like Fiat Chrysler, the automotive company, and then we also have Stellantis Group, the automotive company, who is working with us today and we are helping them with their AI algorithms and data sets. So it's kind of like a platform as a service. So we have a percentage basis model. So that's shortly about the business model there.
Awesome, thank you. We have a question from Ruhani, so she can go ahead and ask her question as well.
So my question was, what were some obstacles you had to overcome in the beginning when you're starting off your company?
Well, personally, as I'm living in Sweden, so first of all, I wasn't quite sure about the processes in place. Probably that's much simpler in US or elsewhere. It could also be because of the language and stuff, but I didn't had much of the public speaking experience when I started. And it has been quite a journey for me because I was a bit more like an introvert and back then, and I don't speak much. But since then I have grew quite a lot. And you have to be also open for criticism, because it's always tough, someone saying that whatever you are doing is wrong, or like people always have comments. So you always have to take them in a positive way and try to build on top of that. Always listen to people giving feedback. Everyone has their own perspectives, but take what's good for you, and yeah, try to limit the negativity as well. So you just have to do what you believe in, and always ask for feedback, ask advisors or anyone. Just go and speak with your customers. It's fine. You will get a lot of feedback. So that's super important, I would say. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll pass it over to Yushi now.
Once again, thank you so much for sharing your experiences. It definitely inspired a lot of us in the audience, I'm sure. Sukesh, if you'd be willing to put down any contact information you're comfortable with sharing, like your LinkedIn and email, so that participants can contact you with any further questions, that would be great.
Yeah, sure. So I think you have my information, right? Do you want me to write it here in the chat, or?
Yeah, if you're able to, you can put it in the chat.
Okay. Let's see if I can do that. Okay, I'm gonna send it to the host because I don't see option to send it to everyone. So
that's
fine.
We'll move on to our next speaker, who is Adam Kershner, the founder of Kahana. So if you could introduce yourself, Adam, and tell us a little bit about your company.
Sure. Yeah, thanks for having me. I hope you can hear me all right. I'm outside and there's some birds chirping around me. So if they're making a ruckus, I can put on some headphones. But yeah, I'd be happy to introduce myself. I was thinking about the best way to tell you about me, and I kind of just wanted to talk about the things that I like to do the most. And I love black coffee, listening to music, traveling, playing chess and poker. I love reading books about psychology, hacking, meeting people. And, you know, I have some goals that I write down for myself. And what I really am focused on is eventually being able to develop some better listening skills, organizational skills. And then whenever a discussion is happening and it's getting pretty heated or an argument's happening, just learning how to breathe instead of escalating that. Because I have a tendency to kind of get, I can like a good fight, you know, I like to compete. So that's something that I'm working on too. And then my biggest goal is to design technology that captures people's hearts and really makes people feel that they're immersed in an experience that's unforgettable and truly connective. So what I do is I'm one of the co-founders of Kahana, and Kahana is a startup company that focuses on building a platform that's designed for creators. So we're very much interested in the creator economy. If you think about companies like Netflix or you know, Spotify even, those would be a part of the attention economy where, you know, they're dealing with different types of solutions or products that you know, you're consuming, whereas Kahana would be a platform that you just go onto and you begin creating your own content. So there's an aspect of adding your own value to our network. So right now we're focused on taking our product from beta to launch, and that's going to be happening over the summer. So I'm super, super pumped, and I'd love to get into the next questions because I'd also like to give a ton of time for anyone to ask any questions that I could answer.
Okay, thank you so much for that. So our first question is, what sparked your passion for innovation?
All right, so this is a good question. And I feel like for me, I kind of just looked at everything else that I could do and didn't like it as much. So I thought like, oh, I could go be a doctor. I could go like study. I actually did study engineering, but you know, you could be a doctor, you could do blah, blah, blah. But I just didn't like anything that was in a set pathway. So I kind of realized that the only thing I could be doing was innovation. And that just comes from my own personality, which is I'm super restless and I like space. I don't like a lot of rules or regulations. I like to break rules. You know, I like to think outside the box. So one of the first experiences I had with innovation was one of my professors in college. He challenged me to think of, you know, 6 to 7 ways to get from point A to point B, which was how to get 1,000 people on a platform. How many different ways can you think of to do that fastest as possible? anything's on the table. And when I started thinking that way, I kind of merged it with the types of literature I was reading. So I was deep into startup methodology and kind of into the wave of lean startup methodology, which is all about testing and iterating and failing super, super quickly so you know what works and what doesn't work. And I just really thought that was exhilarating. And then ever since then, you know, I've only wanted to do that.
That sounds really cool. So our next question is, how does Kahana define innovation?
Yeah, so that's a group effort. You know, we have a community of people who lead the innovation that we have, and everybody has an input, and I'm not the only person who can describe what that is. So I'll just give you my definition of it, but I'm sure everybody else within our community and with our team would have different things to say. So for me, it's this concept of white space time, which is something that Google tried to do and actually did effectively. It was super cool for them to give people time that they actually had to go spend exploring whatever they were passionate about. And oftentimes that will yield the best types of ideas. So when people are just kind of meandering, like exploring whatever they want, they'll come up with these awesome kind of inferences and intuitive ideas about what they see. And when you merge that with analyzing pain points that you see within a population of people, you have a recipe for finding some type of solution that is really, really compelling for people. So, you know, I believe in white space time, and white space time is something that organizations and teams need to be considerate about creating for real. It's not just about saying, you know, that you can go do whatever you want. You need to put together systems so that people feel like they're supported in their ideas. You know, they know where to go when they have a great idea, and then they feel heard and listened to in a way that is extremely compelling. So that's how I define innovation. I'm sure that there's a billion other ways to describe it.
Thank you for that. So our next question is, what advice do you have for upcoming young innovators?
All right. So this is pretty simple. There's a couple of things. First thing, build some healthy habits, learn how to eat healthy, and, you know, keep yourself in good health. It's very simple because when you're an entrepreneur or an innovator, it can often be so exhilarating and addicting to do what you do. You love it so much that you might forget to eat, you might forget to work out, and it's just not sustainable. So do the simple things, build some healthy habits, and then after that, the next thing I would recommend would be go out there and get some experience. You know, there's a tough balance between getting started early and also learning about the different options you have with being an entrepreneur. So be savvy about getting started and keep to your dream, but also spend time gaining experience. And then especially if you have the ability to, start making money and save your money, save your capital so that when you need to deploy it and you feel like you've finally gotten your opportunity, you have it there. That's key.
Okay, so the next question that we wanted to ask you is, what are some of your current goals?
Yeah, so I usually have goals on a daily basis. It's hard for me to think, you know, too far in the future. I try to stay present, and that is my goal, to stay as present as humanly possible and to be extremely, you know, happy about where we are. You know, look at things in a vacuum and say, you know, this is where we are. This is where we came from. This is where we want to go. We're very happy today with everything and all of our opportunities. And it's so easy to forget that you only get one life. So in order to enjoy the experience, it's very important to make your goal to just be extremely present with the people you're with.
Thank you so much for that, Adam. Now we'll on to our audience Q&A session now. So we have one question from Anna. So you can go ahead and ask that, Anna.
Have you had any moments where you didn't have ideas, and how did you overcome it?
Let me think. Yeah, totally. In the very beginning, we had, okay, I wouldn't say we didn't have any ideas. We just had horrible ones. So in the very beginning, my co-founder and I, we set out and we started analyzing a bunch of pain points, and we came up with plenty of different like lists of types of things that could possibly be useful for people. And I'll just give you an example of one of those ideas, which was renting out like college party equipment to colleges and like to students who want to throw parties. And that would have been really bad because people would have destroyed all of that stuff. And then also college didn't even really happen right as we had that idea. So it's really, really fortunate that that didn't happen. Otherwise, in terms of having ideas, I've been very, very deep on this one idea called Kahana. That's what I'm working on now. And, it's an extremely long-term vision and it has a lot of depth. So it's all about, it's been hard to actually, the hardest part is executing step by step, and building and feeling like you're laying a bunch of bricks. So once we had the idea, then it wasn't really too necessary to generate anymore.
Thank you. Our next question is from Kelly. So you can go ahead and ask that, Kelly.
My question is, what step did you take to start your business and what was your mindset?
Well, yeah, the first step to start the business was realize that you can't do it alone. So I was very lucky to, you can't hear that, there's a motorcycle that passed by. But the first step was getting somebody, some co-founder of mine who was all in on the idea. His name is Jonathan, and he's one of my best friends. So I don't recommend starting a business with your best friend, but the first step would be getting someone who is straight up willing to go to war with you. If you don't feel like the other person is willing to take a bullet or, go and bleed for you, you're probably not with the right person. And that is really, really, really critical. I take it for granted all the time that I have a co-founder to lean on when I need help. So to really have a great team of people who are willing to battle with you and give it their all is critical.
Sounds great. Thank you. We have a question from Kathleen.
Hello, my name is Kathleen, and my question is, has there been a support system that has kept you motivated throughout your journey as an entrepreneur?
Oh my God, yeah. So this is not like a specific structured support system, but my team is just the best. They will always, message me and DM me and tell me, stop working, you're doing too much. And that really helps me to know that, there's only so much things you can do. And it's those types of, just genuine comments and words of inspiration, little letters that remind me, I can't do everything, and that people want to help and they believe in something as well. It's not just you having your own idea and you're just making it happen and trying to get people to believe it too. At some point you begin to share that with everybody and you realize other people adding their own things to your idea, and then it's not even your idea anymore. You're just a guy who, is there. So that's kind of, one thing that helps me out, but there's no support structure, I would say. The only thing personal that I do is definitely stick to my regimen, stay healthy. I have my own habits, so I have a personal support system as well. And it's very important to remember to take time for yourself.
Awesome, thank you. We have another question from Van, so you can go ahead and ask that, Van.
With your job, what do you feel like is like the hardest part? Because I know that you do a lot, so I was just kind of curious.
Yeah, oh my God, this happened really, really recently, and I had to, so we're in the process of hiring and we're looking for really talented creators to come on board with us and build out our platform and help us with some services. And I had to reject some people, which is really, really sad. And I hate rejecting people. I'm really a softie when it comes down to it. So when somebody believes in what you're doing and, reaches out and spends time working with you, and you ultimately don't have the ability to take them on and have a position for them at that time, to tell them that is really, really difficult for me. So that I would say that personally is something that it still weighs on me to this day. And I know it's not the last time I'm going to have to do it. So I hate that. I really do.
That's great. We have a question from Sanjita.
Were there any times when you were really close to giving up? And if there were, what motivated you not to?
The answer is absolutely positively no. Never give up. I never have even entertained it. I've been having so much fun. I think I'm just lucky. I'm totally grateful that every step of the way has been something new. So do I feel that there will come a day when I feel like giving up? Absolutely. There's going to be some time when, someone just grills me for something and tells me this is horrible, this is bad, you're bad, get out. And that day will be bad, but it hasn't happened yet. So I'm trying to, do my best to continue to strive forward. And one thing that always resonates with me is one of the best pieces of advice I got from one of my mentors. His name is Hugh Malazzi. So really good guy, experienced entrepreneur. He worked with Intuit when they were building a bunch of their great products that you see. He told me that startups and entrepreneurship it comes down to one thing, which is willpower. So as long as you have willpower, you're fine. Just never give up, ever. Like, don't even think about it.
That is great advice. We have time for one more question. So the audience member, Vanessa, she said that she felt that your name, Kahana, is very unique and was wondering how you came up with that sort of a name.
Okay, yeah. So when it kind of was a spontaneous thing, and it comes from the term, which is a Hawaiian term, the big kahuna. So I mentioned before that I've been really deeply involved in consumed with this idea. And when it finally crystallized, I'd done so much research on the market and pain points and what people, needed, people out there, what they needed to help create. I felt that what we had designed was just the big kahuna of ideas. It was going to be completely disruptive and change the way that people thought about creating and their life in terms of what they'd be able to accomplish by themselves as a creator and disrupt the gig economy. So, that is just where the name comes from, the big kahuna. And we changed the name to be Kahana because we did a little bit of research and we found out that that term in Hawaiian means turning point as well as leader. So that is something that we strive to be, is just a leader of creators and of creative thought. And when it comes down to our mission, all we care about is that we're always listening to people's pain points and helping creative people who feel underserved, and by creating technology that completely helps them feel more comfortable and motivated. Because when you talk to a lot of writers and creators nowadays, they really feel that there's not too many avenues for them to do that within their career. Like, it's kind of a joke. If I told my parents or people around me I wanted to be an artist or a creator, they might laugh in my face. And that's actually happened before. So it's just, we want to serve those types of people. And that's where the name Kahana comes from. It's an ode to having a big idea to help creatives.
We had some great questions. Thank you, everyone. I'll pass it over to Sneha.
So once again, thank you so much for sharing your experiences. It really will help our members gain more insight into how building a business works and kind of how you work towards building your business. And so if you're willing to put any of your contact information that you are comfortable with, like your LinkedIn or your email in the chat, that would be great. So our members can email you with more questions.
Yeah, totally. Email me all the questions, and I love cold emails. So feel free. I'll put everything I have.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Now we'll pass it on to Salmo for our next guest speaker.
Thank you, Sneha. So our last speaker for today is Mr. Ajit Deora, who is actually the founder of both Silicon Platform and Growtree Inc. If you don't mind, Mr. Deora, could you give us a brief introduction and as well as a brief introduction of your companies?
Once again, my name is Ajit. So nice to be with all of you young entrepreneurs. I was born and brought up in India, did my engineering in India, came to the US to do my master's, started my career at a company called Intel, company that makes the processors, that makes all your laptops. But I always dreamt to become an entrepreneur. So I left Intel after 5 years, and I started a bunch of companies. I've done 5 startups, 3 got acquired, 1 went public, and 1 did not work out. They're all my favorite companies because I enjoyed building all of them. But to specifically talk about one of them, which is the current one that I'm currently involved with, is a company called Coral Tree right here in San Jose area in California. The objective of Coral Tree was to help tax consultants, CPAs, to successfully and timely do the tax returns for their clients. They all use a software called QuickBooks, which is basically a desktop software. And most clients were using QuickBooks, but the CPAs that did the tax returns for these clients did not have access to the QuickBooks. So the clients had to sort of, take all kinds of papers and receipts and bills and things like that, and to the CPA's office, and the CPA had to re-enter all of this. We set out to automate that process. We have completely automated that process. And now a client can remotely sit in his office, work with a CPA who is remote, and get his taxes done on time. That was the objective behind the startup. And what motivated us to do this is to make the life easy for both the tax consultant as well as their clients. And that was the goal of the company. Glad to answer any more questions you might have.
Thank you very much, Mr. Deora, for those insightful comments. I was just wondering, so what do you feel is the biggest strength of Coral Tree Inc. and why do you think you initially started the company?
So the biggest strength for Coral Tree is we really understood right at the beginning the pain points of the customers that would use our product. Whenever you'd start a startup or build a product, understanding what the customer needs are is very, very critical for a successful building of the company, right? So we spent a lot of time in the beginning talking to many, many, many potential buyers of our product, which is customers of our product, to understand what their specific needs would be. And we used all that feedback to build the product. Getting the feedback, understanding the customer needs is, sometimes can take weeks, sometimes can take many months, right? But the more time you spend upfront understanding that need, the more precise would your product be and would meet the needs of the customer. And that was our biggest strength, right? It continues to be our biggest strength. We started the company maybe about 6-7 years back, and today we have over close to approaching 60,000 customers worldwide using our product, and this number is going up every day. So it's really satisfying to see that Coral Tree is on its way to become a reasonably successful company.
Sorry about that. I think the audio just lagged out a bit. So our next question is, what entrepreneurial skills do you think are most important?
So in my opinion, there are a couple of skills that every entrepreneur should have. Skill number one is the desire to make a difference to a customer. That's skill number one. Skill number two should be the ability to very clearly talk and explain what your vision is, both to your customer and potential employees. Because what customers are really buying is not a product, but something that will make a difference to them in their day-to-day life. And most employees are not joining a startup just to make money. They are joining a startup because they want to make a difference in this world. So the entrepreneurial skill that I believe everybody should develop is the ability to very eloquently and very passionately explain why you're doing this, how it's going to change somebody's life. And that's a skill I've tried to develop on a daily basis. Am I losing you?
Oh, sorry about that. So the next question we have is, how do you go about innovation in your company every day?
So the innovation is a very, very collaborative effort. It always starts, at least at Coral Tree, always starts by talking to our customers, understanding what the customer needs are, understanding if they're happy or unhappy with the product we currently have. If they're happy, we try to understand why are they happy. If they are unhappy, we try and ask them what more could we do to make them happy. And this, we talk not only to one customer, we talk to hundreds of customers, and we put all of this information together in a spreadsheet and prioritize where the customers are most unhappy, where they are most happy, and we use that that information to sort of come up with the next innovation in the product. That's the process we have at Coral Tree.
Our next question is, what advice do you have for young entrepreneurs?
So the advice I would give at this stage of your journey is, I love reading autobiographies of very successful people, right? People like Steve Jobs at Apple. I've read his not autobiography, I'm sorry, the biography, right? You will learn a lot by what Steve Jobs did within Apple. Another book I recommend very heavily is the founder of Nike. He's written a book called Shoe Dog, Phil Knight. It's an awesome book. Talks about, he started Nike, by the way, at the age of 19 or 20, pretty much at the age most of you are. And it took him a long time to get his first break with customers. It's a phenomenal book. So the more you can read about other successful entrepreneurs, the more ideas you will get on what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur. So I read a lot. I enjoy reading autobiographies, enjoy reading biographies, typically of people who have built companies successfully. The two books I recommend, like I said, is the biography of Steve Jobs and Shoe Dog by Phil Knight of Nike.
Thank you so much for that, Jit. Now we'll move on to our audience questions. We do have a question from Ruhani, so she can go ahead and ask that question.
So out of all your startups, which one was like the hardest to get started and get off the ground?
The hardest was the very first one, only because we had no clue what we were doing, other than the fact that I wanted to be an entrepreneur and build a successful company. I had no clue what we were doing. We were making mistakes every day. The very first startup was, by the way, Silicon Platforms, which I did in '87. The hardest part was we did not know what to do, but we were willing to learn as we were making mistakes. The issue we had in '87 was there were not enough people to advise us on what we should be doing. Like today, folks like me who have made our mistakes, we are willing to share the mistakes we made with young entrepreneurs like you. I did not have that benefit when I started Silicon Platforms in '87. So I think that was my hardest startup because I did not know what I was doing. Luckily, we were open-minded. We listened to people. We did not give up, and it ended well because the company did get acquired.
Thank you. That was great. We have another audience question from Riley, who asks, how do you manage so many businesses, and which company has been born of your passions?
So I did these companies one after another. I did not do them all together. So when I did the first company, like I said, I did not know what I was doing other than the passion of being an entrepreneur. But while I was doing the first company, I was talking to customers, and customers were giving us feedback. And some of the feedback helped improve the product we had. And some of the feedback, I sort of put it in my archives, pursue, in the future. So when I sold the first company, I looked at my archives of ideas that I had collected from the customers, and that gave me the idea for the second one, right? And while we were doing the second one and we were talking to customers, same thing, right? We were getting feedback, something that helped improve the current product and some that I archived away for the next company. So when I sold the second company, I did my third, and that's how the sequence followed.
Great, thank you. We have another question from Anna, so she can go ahead and ask that question now.
What do you recommend the youth do to know what we're passionate about and to have a vision in business?
No, so I think you will have, at least in my case, if you take the attitude that I want to make a difference in this world, either to your community, to your city, to your county or your country or the world, you will automatically become passionate, right? If you can help somebody live a healthy life, or if you can help somebody live their life longer, or if you can help somebody reduce their pain, or if you can help somebody achieve their dreams, or if you can help somebody earn their living, anything that helps somebody else will bring passion automatically in you, is what I believe. The moment you say, I'm going to build a company to make money, I believe it's a disaster waiting to happen, because money is never a good driver. Making a difference is a good driver, and making a difference creates passion automatically, I believe.
That is great advice. We have another question from Tiffany, so she can go ahead and ask that question now.
Okay, I believe that you mentioned that you've failed in the past and have made a lot of mistakes. So how do you think that your failure of the past has played into your present success?
You know, man learns from failures, right? As long as he or she is open-minded. None of us are born with all the experience. There are two ways to become an entrepreneur, right? Spend a lot of time working for somebody else, learning from them, learning their mistakes, making sure you don't make those mistakes. And at some point you feel you know enough and you can go do a startup, and hopefully you make less mistakes and you can be successful, right? In my case, that's not what happened. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I did not wait to learn from others. I just jumped into the ocean without knowing swimming. And once I jumped in, I was forced to learn swimming, basically learn from my mistakes, right? But I was open-minded. I was open to criticism. I knew when I made a mistake, and I made sure I did not make the same mistake second time. So over time, I was making less and less mistakes, and building more and more successful companies in the process.
Thank you for that. We have one more question before our end of the Q&A session. This one is from Hunter, who asks, if you could start all over again, what would you do differently?
I would say I would have worked for a little longer, got a little bit more experience, read a lot about the biographies and autobiographies of successful people, and learn from that what mistakes they made early in life and how did they circumvent those mistakes. Before I would do any startup, right? Which I did not do in the beginning. The first time I did a startup, I hadn't read about any of these biographies. I just jumped in, like I said earlier on, and tried to learn while I was trying to build a startup, rather than learning before and then building a startup. So I would say try and learn as much as you can in the early years of your career. Try and read biographies of other people as much as you can. And I think that will help you a lot, make less and less mistakes.
Thank you for that. I'll pass it over to Sao now.
Thank you, Johnby. Once again, thank you so much, Mr. Deora, for sharing your experiences. Personally, at least, it gave a lot of insight into your companies, and it gave me a lot of knowledge. And I'm sure I could say the same for all our members here.
Thanks to everyone for joining our innovation panel. And once again, especially a big, big thank you to all of our guest speakers for taking time out of their day to share their insightful and valuable experiences. We hope you all enjoyed learning about our guest speakers and took something away from this event. In the future, we will be having many more insightful and interactive events, which will be available to both members and non-members. But for those of you who aren't members, you can reach out to us if you have any questions at youthforbusiness@gmail.com and certainly apply. If you have any final questions, comments, or concerns, you may put them in the chat, but other than that, you're free to go. Again, thank you so much for joining us.